How Stoicism solves the modern burnout crisis is already on the no-repeat list. I will generate a fresh angle on the same theme with a new title, new hook, and a structurally different approach. Title: Epictetus had a name for what is killing you. Stoic wisdom. You wake up already tired. Not tired from sleep deprivation, although that is probably part of it. Tired in a deeper way. The kind of tired that a weekend does not fix. The kind that follows you into Monday morning before the week has even started. You have a job. Maybe a good one. You have people who care about you. You have your phone, your plans, your notifications, your goals written somewhere in a notebook you have not opened in weeks. And still, underneath all of it, there is this quiet but persistent feeling that you are running on empty. Here is the thing. That feeling has a name. Epictetus, a man who was born into slavery over 2,000 years ago and became one of the most respected philosophers in the ancient world, identified the exact mechanism that produces this feeling. He called it a failure of the dichotomy of control. And he spent his entire life teaching people how to reverse it. The Stoics figured this out 2,000 years ago, and we have forgotten it. This video is not about morning routines or productivity hacks. It is about something more fundamental. It is about the invisible drain that is quietly hollowing out your energy, your focus, and your sense of self. And it is about the Stoic framework that stops the bleeding. Stay with this until the end. The last section is the one most people need the most, and almost nobody talks about it. But before we go further, if this channel has ever given you something useful, something that made you think differently or act better, consider subscribing now. There is a whole community here building a quieter, stronger way to live. We would love to have you in it. Epictetus did not have a comfortable life. He was enslaved, beaten, and had no legal rights over his own body. And yet, by every account we have, he was not a broken man. He was calm, focused, free in a way that confused the people who controlled him. How? He made a distinction that changed everything. In his teachings, recorded by his student Arrian in a work called the Enchiridion, Epictetus said this: "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." That sounds simple. It is not. Because what most of us are doing, every single day, is pouring our energy into things that are not in our power. We are anxious about what our boss thinks. We are obsessed with whether people like the thing we posted. We are grinding toward outcomes we cannot control and ignoring the one thing we can, which is how we respond, what we choose, who we decide to be in this moment. That is where the exhaustion comes from. Not from the work. From the misdirection. Modern burnout is not a workload problem. It is an attention problem. We have scattered ourselves across 100 things we cannot control and called it ambition. Think about a normal Tuesday. Before lunch, how many times have you refreshed something hoping for a different result? How many times have you replayed a conversation in your head, rewriting it, wishing it had gone differently? How many minutes have you spent worrying about a decision someone else is going to make? That is not productivity. That is not ambition. That is energy leaking out of a hole in the bucket. Seneca, writing in his letters to Lucilius, put it this way: "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." He was describing exactly this, the habit of mentally rehearsing outcomes we cannot control, generating real emotional distress from scenarios that may never arrive. Seneca knew this from experience. He spent years at the mercy of Emperor Nero, never certain whether today would be his last day of freedom or his last day of life. He had more reason than almost anyone to spiral into anxiety. Instead, he wrote letters. He reflected. He directed his attention deliberately toward what he could actually influence. You can do the same thing. Not in theory. Today. Right now. The practical action here is this. Get a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On the left, write every source of stress currently taking up space in your head. On the right, write next to each one whether it is actually in your control or not. You will discover that most of what is exhausting you sits entirely on the wrong side of that line. Marcus Aurelius was arguably the most powerful man in the world during his lifetime. Emperor of Rome. Commander of armies. The final word on millions of lives. He was also, by his own admission in his private journal that we now call Meditations, constantly on the edge of overwhelm. But here is what made him different. He had a practice. Every morning, before the demands of empire arrived, he would sit with himself and recalibrate. He would remind himself of what was real, what was his, and what was outside his reach. In Meditations he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He was not saying ignore the world. He was saying stop trying to manage it from the inside. Stop outsourcing your stability to things that were never yours to control. The modern translation of this is direct. You are not going to control the economy. You are not going to control whether your industry changes, whether your relationship stays easy, whether the world gets louder and more chaotic. But you can control your response. You can control your practice. You can control whether you show up tomorrow with intention or just collision. That is the inner citadel. That is the thing nobody can take from you, unless you hand it over. Cato the Younger lived during one of the most corrupt and politically toxic periods in Roman history. Caesar was consolidating power. The Republic was crumbling. The social pressure to compromise, to go along, to just survive the moment was immense. Cato refused. Not loudly. Not performatively. He simply held his line. He lived simply when everyone around him lived lavishly. He chose integrity over convenience every single time, not because it was easy, but because he understood something the Stoics all agreed on. Virtue is the only real currency. Everything else is borrowed. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught that virtue is the only true good. Not success. Not status. Not the approval of the crowd. This idea sounds radical, but it solves something very specific about burnout. Most burnout is not caused by doing too much. It is caused by doing too much of the wrong thing for the wrong reasons. Working for validation instead of meaning. Performing productivity instead of producing something real. Chasing a version of success that someone else defined and that you never actually wanted. Cato's answer, and the Stoic answer, is to return to your own values. Not the ones your industry rewards. Yours. What do you actually care about? What work feels like contribution rather than performance? Start there. Here is what the Stoics would prescribe for someone running on empty in 2025. First, the evening audit. This comes from the Stoic practice of daily reflection, described by Seneca and practiced by Marcus Aurelius. Before you sleep, ask yourself 3 questions. What drained me today? Was it actually mine to carry? What could I release tomorrow? This is not journaling for therapy. It is navigation. You are correcting course before the drift becomes a crisis. Second, voluntary discomfort. Epictetus taught, and Ryan Holiday in The Obstacle is the Way has translated this for modern readers, that deliberately choosing small hardships keeps you sharp. Cold water. A hard conversation you have been avoiding. A morning without the phone. These are not punishments. They are proof to yourself that discomfort cannot break you. That recalibration makes everything else feel manageable. Third, one clear commitment. Not a list of goals. One thing that is genuinely yours. One project, one relationship, one practice that you tend with full attention. The Stoics were not minimalists by accident. They understood that scattered effort produces scattered results and scattered identity. You are not burned out because life is hard. You are burned out because your energy is going everywhere except the places that actually matter to you. When Epictetus's students genuinely began practicing the dichotomy of control, something unusual happened. They did not become passive. They did not give up on ambition. They became more effective, not less, because they stopped wasting their finite energy on infinite noise. This is available to you. Not as a philosophy you admire from a distance. As a daily practice. The burnout crisis is real. But it is not random. It has a structure. And the Stoics mapped that structure and built a way out 2,000 years before we invented the word for what we are suffering from. You do not need to do less. You need to do what is yours, with full presence, and release the rest without guilt. That is not surrender. That is strength. If this landed for you, there is a video waiting for you next that goes even deeper into the Stoic practice of building emotional resilience from the inside out. Watch that one next. It picks up exactly where this one ends. And if you have not subscribed yet, this is the community for that kind of thinking. Join us. We will see you in the next one.